not about how wild we can make it, it's how beautiful we can make it. Well, today we've got a basic 32 Ford Roadster here. And I say basic because the owner is a bass player. You might be familiar with Michael Anthony. He was a bass player for Van Halen. Well, he brought his hot rod in. Now this used to belong to Dick Brogdon, who was the manager at Hot Rods by Boyd when I was there, and pretty much everybody else that worked with Boyd. But Dick sold it to Michael Anthony, and Michael has brought it in because we did a little bit of work on the engine, and he wants to add some mirrors to it. So I'm gonna do a little sketch right now, and then out of a piece of foam, I'm gonna shape a mirror stem that'll end up bolting to the door. So what I'm thinking I wanna do is take the shape of the windshield post and duplicate that in a smaller version. We can make that one piece, it'll be left and right, and then Michael says he wants an oval mirror on the stem, but I think we can make this shape our stem itself and end up with something. The reason I'm looking at the shape of this windshield post and think I can make that same shape here is I want it to look like the same designer that did this post made the mirror stem. You know, I can make a different shape that doesn't relate to this, and then it looks like two different people did it. So the funny thing is I did this windshield post back in the 80s for another hot rod, and when Dick Brogdon and I were both at Boyd's, he had seen a pair of these that I had put on a car, and he says, "Where'd you get those?" And I said, "Well, I just happened to have another set, so I gave him these." So since I was a designer on that, looks like I'm the designer on the mirror post. But if I hadn't done this, that's the same way I would think and the way that I would design that. I would look for something on the car that can become that. And you know, because they're both right next to each other, I want them to relate to each other. What I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna call it sketch modeling. I'm gonna shape a piece out of foam. I wanna look at it on the car and see if I like it. Once I know I like it, then we can scan that or just take a couple dimensions, draw it in the computer, and cut them on a CNC machine. What I'm doing now is I'm just roughing out an oval mirror, the shape of a mirror, because all I'm doing is, like I say, I'm calling this a sketch model. I'm just roughly sketching out the shape in a piece of foam. I can look at it and decide whether I like it or not. If I don't like it, I'll come up with something different, or I'll reshape it until it's something I like. All I'm doing is I'm using the sandpaper to take away everything that doesn't look like what I want it to look like. That little radius at the bottom, so I got to get that radius there and then sand away what is unnecessary here. This will all be round here. Let me get it thin like I need it. Now I don't draw on a computer and I don't have a CNC machine, so I just rough things out, get an idea of what I want. And then if you're an overhauling fan and you remember Mike Curtis, who worked on the show, I will call Mike Curtis. He has all the tools that he needs to make this. We'll scan it, he can draw it, and he's got the machines that'll cut it. So that's it. This shape resembles that shape. That mirror is, I'm just gonna use a set of mirrors like this, but I'm probably gonna radius the backside of that before we chrome them, but that's what it is. I'll be happy with that. So the shape is basically the same shape. Now all I gotta do is call Mike Curtis, have him come over, he can scan these pieces and make them real. Mike Curtis! He'll be here in a minute. Well, Domino's hooked up with Mecum Auctions, and if you happen to be the 1 millionth customer of the weekend that bought a pizza, you got a Ferrari. And I happened to make that phone call. Actually, Pat Velasco and Linda Velasco, they bought this up in Monterey this weekend, and Pat had asked me, since I was up there, to look at the car with him. I pointed out some things to it that needed to be fixed. He bought the car and said, okay, I'm sending it to you, and you get to fix it. So that's why it's here. I've always loved this car, and in the Ferrari world, a lot of people will say that the 330 GTC is one of the best road Ferrari cars that there were. It's considered a long nose Ferrari V12. The V12 motor is in the front. It's a beautiful style car. I happen to have one myself, the silver one that's in the back of the shop. But we're basically just going to go through the whole car, fix any of the little issues that Pat wants to fix, and return it to him so he can enjoy it. And I'll still enjoy mine. Like pulling apart a brand new car, right? Every nut and bolt just coming right apart? Yeah. Perfect. We've got the Camaro in the shop and we're pulling this thing apart, and we're finding some things that we were hoping we didn't have a lot of things to fix, but as we get into it, we're finding out that we do have a lot of things to fix. So. The Camaro's actually come quite a long ways. We've got the frame extensions all welded in. We've got all the rust issues that we had fixed. And we painted the inside of the car as well as all the bottom. We've stripped all the parts. They're over in the body shop getting surfaced. We've painted the firewall already. That's the color that the car will be. I mixed a white, it's BASF 22 line, which is a single stage paint, and I'm calling it United White. And we've got the suspension, we've got the blueprint motor, and we've got the Bowler transmission on it. Next we'll be putting the exhaust in. Right now we're clearancing the steering box to make sure it works with the headers. But soon we'll have some rollers on the car and we'll be able to get it over to the other side, start surfacing the doors and the front fenders and the hood and everything together, get it all gapped. And I'm hoping that by mid next week we'll have this car painted. You know, once we discovered that it really wasn't a nice paint job, that it just blew off with a blower, we stripped the car down to raw metal. We fixed all the rust that was underneath it, hammered out the dents, and now what we're doing is we're surfacing it. So it's a light, thin coat of Bondo over the whole car that will block. And the goal is, you can see I just went right over the door gap. So when I'm done blocking and I get both panels that are even with each other, I'll come back in and I'll cut that door gap back into it. The goal is to make it look like the car was one piece and then you put all the door gaps into it. So everything looks like it fits. The fit and finish is nice when it's done. It's gonna be a much nicer car. I wasn't expecting to do this. I thought all we were doing was putting a new motor and drivetrain, suspension and whatnot in the car, but it's a complete rebuild now.
Is this that 54 that I bought, the Chevy?
The 50, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 54 Chevy
Yeah.
you brought. Okay,
Corvette.
Good. Okay, perfect. I saw this rig online, so I had written a note. And so I texted the owner. He called me. He said, by the way, Chip Foose is on it. I said, who? He said, Chip Foose. I said, well, yeah, we go back quite a ways. And I said, of course, I knew his dad and so forth. He said, I'm going to have you talk to Chip. So I had no idea he was involved initially, which turned out to be a blessing. This car was built when I was a senior in high school in '58. Barris was doing some things. He did a '58 chopped coupe. Barris did for a friend of mine. I never had enough money to afford Barris. It's just unique. It's unique as hell. Oh my goodness sakes.
That's a Junior Conway 1958 candy apple red paint job. You want to drive?
No, you be the engineer some of the times.
There we are.
Might have to tuck it. Do you have to tuck it at all? Perfect.
See if we can go down that bump.
Yep, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, see, that's power steering.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just by the model. You know what we'll do is just go to the corner. We'll just go a short distance. Okay.
We didn't go very far. We just went around the neighborhood and just wanted to let them see how easy this car is to drive and that it is a reliable car that he can take to shows and share it with the world. If you're trying to climb a hill, you can put it in low and this thing will go up a mountain.
Okay,
You want to drive it?
No. Hell no, I got enough things going on.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it right over here.
Yeah, pull over here this way.
We're going right here.
Pull ahead. You're fine.
There you are.
Okay, brother.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's all yours.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Actually, there is a box in the trunk of the car that I want to show you.
Okay, perfect.
So.
Perfect. We'll paint it so we know.
There's your boot.
Okay, now literature.
And this.
Oh my goodness. See, people retain important
Yes.
documents.
Yes. So, John Glazer, who owned it. There's your original owner's manual.
Somebody's got the timing.
Yep. This top was put on the car in 1961. Craig has that original. This is your supercharger.
Yeah,
The owner's. Yep. Owner's manual.
Oh yeah, it's got all the scoop. That's perfect.
Ron's cars are absolutely beautiful. So I know that this Barris Custom is in the right place and in the right hands because he will take care of it. I think the car is in the perfect hands. Ron is going to cherish this and take care of it, and the legend will live on.
Well, it's a crying shame you don't even know my name. But every time you pass me by, girl, it makes me wanna cry. It's a crying shame. I go inside and close the door because I just can't take no more.
Well, the 2023 Camaro that we're building for Gary Sinise Foundation, of course, we're going to get rid of that stock exhaust and put a way better MagnaFlow exhaust. And we've got Richard here from MagnaFlow. He's going to help us to install it.
All right, we got our last muffler here. Got everything else up there, and That looks awesome.
The biggest thing is we got to twist the lower section here, the tips, and make sure they're all nice and even. Because we do intersect the factory pipe up here, there's a lot of variation from unit to unit. So we've got all these little adjustments here to make sure that we get everything clocked in just right. Yeah.
Well, with a little help from MagnaFlow, this Camaro should sound sweeter than Lieutenant Dan Band. Well, the last time you saw Ron and Sue's 56 Chevy, the interior was still plywood and really, really rough. We finished up all the plywood. I made some fiberglass buckets that the seats are upholstered in, but we got the car finished. We had it at Ron's 70th birthday, but we brought it back after the party. We've got AC ducts to put in, and I've got to finish wrapping up the trunk, but check it out.
This material's beautiful.
Came out great, huh?
Yeah, what would you call this?
That is actual mohair.
Oh, it's mohair.
They used it a lot back in the day, so your Chip decided to incorporate it into this design.
So this is a vintage material.
Yeah, yes it is.
How old do you think it is?
I don't know, but it's pretty darn old, but I like it. It hasn't been used much, and I like that he decided to go for it and incorporate it into this interior.
It matches the paint pretty well. It's really cool. I love these buttons too. Is that his idea?
Yes, and it's a really nice decor. It just sets it off, and
Yeah.
it kind of goes and ties in with the chrome trims, you know.
I don't remember those in the original interior. It's a really nice little detail.
And I like the three colors that's going on, It flows all the way around, kick panels, seats, and then he even decided to use the white leather, just like the top part, and then the mohair on the bottom.
Oh, wow.
So he kind of kept that whole two-tone.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And yeah, and then moving on to the headliner, as you can tell.
Oh, wow.
If you look closely, it has the same texture as the original style vinyl headliner, but we just went with a much lighter color and give it a refresh.
How was this material to work with?
It was pretty difficult. It was pretty difficult, being that the original style material is a vinyl, so it's more rigid. It keeps its shape a little bit better when you're dealing with a softer cloth or fabric. You're doing so many sections like this car has. It has all these bows. It's really difficult to get everything to line up just right where it needs to be.
So is it also vinyl?
No, this is actually made by Sombrella, and it is a Sombrella upholstery fabric, which is awesome, great material. So we got it done, and it looks good.
Yeah, you guys killed that. It looks so good. It looks just like the original, just without
Thanks.
the yellowing.
That's the whole idea, man. Thank you. I know it's pretty cool how it's brighter up top, darker down at the bottom with that black German squared weave carpeting that we put in there, and it'll hide the dirt a lot better, you know, as you're stepping on it. But you know, it's pretty cool. The whole thing, it kind of flows together. The seats have black at the bottom, and it gets lighter as it goes up higher.
Last time you saw the Continental, we were thrashing to get this thing done, to get it to SEMA. We're back from SEMA, and I want to do a walk around and show you exactly what we've done to the car. Starting from the very front, we filled off the hood emblem that was up here, just made that smooth. When you get down to the bumper itself, we pulled the bumper back, we pulled this back, we narrowed the side of the bumper, pulled it in on the side and flushed it out. Now with the headlights, we dropped the headlights down 1/2 inch and then pulled them back 5/8 of an inch to get a little bit of a lead in, because they were almost flat coming out here. And I thought it looked really odd because I love this subtle radius that's in the front of the hood. So I wanted to get a little bit of that lead in on the bumpers as well. Now this line that comes around normally comes up at about this point here, and it's real heavy looking. So I pulled that line back, we racked it up here, we made the bumper to this just one nice line, and then when it gets to the rockers, we made new rockers and made them wrap around the corner instead of just on the side of the car. Steering wheel, of course, the original wheel is about 2.5 inches larger in diameter. Cut that down, made the one-off steering wheel. Now we've got a tilt steering column, and then we built the cap for that because the stock piece is smaller diameter than this. So we built a little billet piece that we chrome plated so it looks like the stock steering column. And all the gauges are handmade, Shannon at Redline Gauges. We built the faces, Shannon did all the internals so that we could run that with a blueprint engine. Under the hood, of course, it's no longer the Continental engine. We've got the blueprint LS3 engine and all of the stainless steel exhaust system. We use MagnaFlow, tubes, but we handmade that whole system that follows the same path as the original exhaust, but it's all handmade, one-off. And of course, Mike Curtis from Curtis Speed, he machined the top of the air cleaner. It's the same shape as the stock one, but I wanted that chrome just to add a little bit of bling because I wanted it so simple and so clean in here. We hand built the front cover using the original piece here, but we extended it out so it fit to the grille and then extended it so it would go over the radiator. The last thing is the master power brake. We've got the booster there and their master cylinder. And other than that, just real simple, real elegant. It's not about, how wild we can make it. It's how beautiful we can make it. Thank you. This car was originally purchased by a woman who was 25 years old, Mary Farney. They called her Madcap Mary. She got the car when she was 25, and she was the heiress of her grandfather's pharmacy company. Duesenberg was a race car enthusiast, and he built a lot of race cars as well as his production cars. But at the time, we had not come up with a V-series engine yet. So to get more horsepower, they were just putting more cylinders out in a straight line. This is an 8-cylinder. Later, we came up with a V8, which shortened it up, and we were able to start making cars a little smaller. When you look at this, this is the size of a truck, but this was a luxury car back in its day. And you couldn't get anything more luxurious than the Duesenberg. You know, one of the unique things about Duesenbergs is the fact that they didn't have a production body that you just saw the same thing over and over and over again. There were a few that they had designed bodies, and some of the customers said, I want the same, the same body. So the coach builders built, maybe several of a design that they had done. But what you got to see with the Duesenberg was each one was very unique, and you could have a car that had a chauffeur and you just rode in the back, or maybe it was just they had 2 different wheelbases, so it could have been a short wheelbase, and you got a 2-seat sports car this size. But that was the uniqueness of a Duesenberg, was that every car was its own original. When I build a car, I always want people to know what it is. So I will retain the original grille. I will change the hood side. I want the fenders, the very front of the fenders, to look like the Duesenberg fenders. We're going to use the same lights. Unfortunately, I don't have lights on the car right now, but I want those original Duesenberg lights and tail lights and the bumpers. I don't want to change that. I want people to know when they see this, it's a Duesenberg. But what designers and coach builders did in the day that you could buy this and produce it brand new is they designed their own body and form, and they built it. That's what I'm so excited about here. I hope to build something that is just absolutely beautiful and not so square like most Duesenbergs are. I want it to look more European and almost kind of mid-30s looking. So as if somebody bought this car in 1934 and it was just the chassis, but then it was designed based on some influence from Europe, which is much more voluptuous, elegant, flowing lines, and not just a fender with a flat running board and a skirt that's hiding the frame, and then a body that has a very flat bottom, comes up almost flat on the top. That's the way most Duesenbergs looked. There were a few that kind of used the inspiration that I'm talking about, but I'm hoping to make this the most elegant, flowing Duesenberg that's ever been built. Now, as a designer, there are certain dimensions that I have to, this I'm not changing. This is exactly what we're dealing with. So there's a position that the driver and passenger will be in, and whether we were to put back seats in or not, those are the givens that we can't change. So this grille shell, this is the shape that the body starts. I will keep that, I can't change that. There's the firewall, but what we can do is build an extension on this and bring the firewall out or forward or back, complete this cowl. We could make longer, you could do a sub cowl and have the hood start from out here and go all the way to the front. Those are the things that are optional for me. A typical long wheel Duesenberg, most of them looked something like this if it wasn't a coupe. They had a dual cowl, 2 windshields, so you had a driver in the front and the occupants in the back. But you see the skirt that's down below the body. The body is very flat, and the two-tone really helps to explain that. You've got a running board or a fender coming down to a running board, and then another fender, but the body looks very, very flat. And what I want to do is have the body roll down to where the running board is. We'll have a shorter running board and bring that fender and the running board with some shape up into it, and then also a longer rear fender. I may even extend the frame rails in the back and pull that bumper out. I'll know as I start doing some drawings. But I can take this over and I'll show you a quick sketch of kind of where I think we're gonna end up on this car, but it's gonna be just a rough, loose sketch. You know, I won't do any of the final renderings until I have everything done in quarter scale and I'm working over what I really have to maintain, what is actually here. Then I'll have some actual drawings and I'll know exactly what we're gonna build before we even start. But sketches, that's the easy part. So I'll show you a quick sketch of what I have in my mind of what I'm hoping to do to this car.